All right, we're back for page 12. We're going to be assembling the head. So we have the first bag here with the following arms, a bunch of bearings, and your um, main pitch links. All right, I'm just going to get those separated here. And the rest should be for your following arms. And this is really cool. This little wrench that it comes with. So you can use this for your pitch links. Um, and I think really that's it for your pitch links. But yeah, let's get building on this. One of the things is you're gonna have to use green Loctite, and you're also gonna have to grease the spindle. So following arms, when you put the bearings in, you don't want to coat the bearings with green Loctite. Green Loctite tends to kind of seep in. Even the SAB ones, which are pretty good, they're pretty gel-like, can kind of seep in. So what I'll do is just kind of give a little dab on each, just on one of the faces of it. And then I'll take the bearing and I'll put one of the bearings in. Okay, I'm gonna put that little inside spacer, and then we're gonna go with the other bearing on the other side. Okay, that little dab of green should be enough. If I try to rotate the outer race, that should spread that green out, and I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, and then we got the smaller bearings for the inside radius arms. One, and where's the other one? Two. Okay, and we're just gonna repeat that. All right, we're gonna take the M2 by 10, go through the small bearing, and tie it into a, use a spacer, a washer, and then into the plastic radius arm. So this is a machine screw going into a plastic arm. It's a fine thread that gets kind of tight at the end. And just hand tighten it, make sure, you know, it's loose enough. Okay, we'll do the other one. All right, building these, I'm gonna use this little wrench to hold the turnbuckle. This is right thread, left thread, so you should figure that out first, I guess. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll make the other one. All right. Now we're gonna get, let's see here. It's saying 46 millimeters. Let's get the calipers and measure out 46 millimeters. All right. Get the calipers out. Let's go 46. All right. Still needs to go in. Okay. All right. Move on to building up the head block, center hub assembly. Okay. There's a couple things I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend cleaning the threads in here with at least some paper towel and some alcohol, and then making sure you Loctite this. So let me go get that alcohol and get that going. Okay, you can wrap the tip kind of around one of your sockets and just kind of stick it in there and spin it clockwise, which will kind of pull the paper towel into it. You can wet the edge of the paper towel and use the edge, which is a little bit thinner. Get more in there and then yank it out and get all that dirt and whatever out of there. Okay. All right. So we're gonna build up the dampeners. I'm gonna wear gloves because of the grease that we gotta use. So we're gonna grease the shaft. Grease gonna help it kind of just let the shaft sit there. Now we have options for your O-ring setup. I'm gonna do a 70 90. So the outside, or the one that's actually inside the dampener, the plastic dampener, is gonna be the 90. Okay. So when you're putting this dampener on, it's the O-ring on the dampener. It's actually easier to go from the outside than to like go from the stepped portion. Just gonna get a little more grease. You know, this can be pretty greased up. The grease will help it keep the O-rings in place. All right. So then the inside one will be the 70 O-ring. Okay. I'm just gonna take this and use my finger and my hand, just push the dampener in. Just something flat to just push it down evenly for it to seat. And I'm gonna push the spindle through, and I'm gonna actually clean it again. Probably got a little bit of lube got in there, so. Alright. Put the dampener in on the other side. So we'll build up the dampener. Again, I'm going to take the 90 mil and go from the outside and not from the inside with that step. Just makes it a little bit easier. So here's the 90. Oops. All this grease makes it slippery. That's on, and then the 70 goes on the inside, and then we'll take the whole assembly and put it in there. Give a little wipe down on my gloves. I'm also going to try to clean the inside of the dampener a little, so that way we don't get all that gunk on the inside of the spindle. Okay, make sure you have the right side going in. I'm gonna and I'm just gonna press this all the way in and press that dampener all the way in. Make sure it's fully seated. Alright. And then I'll push the spindle back. Alright. I'm going to take these spare O-rings and just toss them in a servo case for later. The rest can be thrown away. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to keep my gloves on. Move right to bag number 13. This is going to be building up the thrust bearings and your main grips. Alright, we'll put these aside. Alright, we'll bring this camera down a little. We're going to build the main grips. The thrust bearings, get those greased up and installed, and I'll show you how I do that. And we'll get this head finished. So we're going to move on to page 13 and building up the head assembly. Alright, I'm going to take these gloves off for a second. Love the CNC work. All the little different angles and stuff. These bags are always so oily. Alright, so first we have these little button head screws, and these go into the following arms. They are a 1.5 mil driver. I'm going to put them through the following arm. Then I'm going to bring this and put some Loctite on it. And then we're going to screw that into here. Okay. Flip it to the other side. Okay, we'll move on to building up the bearing stack and the main grips. So I'm going to use a driver here as a tool to just guide all of this stuff together. So first you got to take your two races, and you need to find out which one is has a bigger inner diameter. So here, I'll put one on one side, one on the other, and you'll see that one will barely rock. The other one will rock quite a bit. So this is the one that goes inside. This is the race that goes on the outside like this. Okay, in the stack. So if I'm building this backwards, I want the tight side to be the outside, or the first on the stack. Then I want my bearing stack. Now as far as which way to put the race, it really doesn't matter. Once this is sandwiched, the cage should be floating, so it shouldn't matter. I just do it this way because it's easier for me to put the grease in. Alright, and as far as the grease, I'm just going to use like a driver to just get some grease on it and then stuff it in there. I don't know if I can get this focusing, but you get the idea. Okay, turn it with my finger, get that grease in there. Alright, once I feel like all the little pockets have enough grease in it, I'll put that down. I'll take the other part of the race. Sandwich it. Okay. I'm just gonna wipe this down. Okay. Put it back on, sandwiched. And then there's a little washer that goes on, and then this gets stuffed into your main grip here, like that, and then this all falls in here. We do need a washer, so let's get one. Push that through, make sure it's good. Okay, spin the bolts are the only bolts I clean and confirm that they're good and Loctited. Okay. You can go red on this. This blue is nice and thick, and once I coat that screw, it's gonna pretty much be good. Okay. Feed that in there a little sideways, catch it, tighten it in. All right. And just hand tighten it. Okay, until the spindle turns on the other side. All right. So that shim spacer. Build up the stack. Figure out which one it is. So that's the tight one. That's the loose one. So the tight one goes first. Your ball bearings. Grease. Outer race. Washer. Okay. I'll put that screw in the spindle and just guide everything down. As you shake this out, then I turn it and use it like this to hold it. Put it down. Grab my 3mm. Clean the bolt head. And then I'll slot this in and hand tighten. And then you'll start needing another 3mm to capture the other side and get that going. So let's find my other 3mm. We're gonna try to tighten this as much as we can. I go as hard as I can, and just, give it a good tight down. So here we go. Let's find where it stops, and then give it a good shake down tight, and then just kind of wiggle it out. You might have bent the metal a little. Now expect this to be a little tight, but yeah, it just feels good. Doesn't feel too tight, doesn't feel too loose. It's good. All right, so there are extra shims here, and I'm just gonna take those and put them in the bag and then toss them in the servo case for my extra little parts here. Okay, we'll get these are the Zytel arms, 23mm. We'll get those bolted on. Blue Loctite, very good coating. I'm gonna spread it out nice and even through the bolt. About half the bolt gets covered. And through here. And bolt onto the yarn. Okay. Give it a good snug. Not too tight. Loctite should do its job. And then here, we'll take the 1.5 and we'll thread this. So there's a sleeve in there. I'm going to Loctite it. So there's a metal sleeve in there, a brass sleeve. I don't want this falling apart. Okay, we'll do the other side. these pitch links on. So there is a part that has a little bit bigger space than the other. I'm just going to put that on top, just so that they're uniform, whether they're clockwise to expand or counterclockwise to go the other way. So, all right, here we go. These are all done. We'll move on to the next page, building up the swatch plate.